Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and boy oh boy, that YouTube ad blocking situation just keeps getting worse. Now, for anybody that's not been following, YouTube has basically been at war with ad blockers for the last several months at this point, okay? It is basically a war between Google and every ad blocking agency, ad blocking web browser out there to try and make sure that you, the viewer, view ads, okay? Or you buy YouTube Premium. YouTube does not like advertisements being blocked, okay? To the point where, ladies and gentlemen, if you again look through YouTube's actual terms of services, they will tell you when you block YouTube ads, you violate the terms of service. If you use ad blocks, we ask you to allow ads on YouTube or sign up for YouTube Premium. Now you might be like, Muta, you've made this video a couple times in the past. What actually changes things today? Well, actually, today I saw something from a actual extension that some would be surprised that I would actually talk about. I feel like a lot of people are surprised when I speak in favor of people and I'm sympathetic towards individuals using Adblock. I want to start off by saying that I don't care if you use Adblock to watch my content or you use extensions like Sponsor Block or anything of that nature, okay? One of the things you may notice on my videos is even when there is a sponsored read, which is maybe 2-3 times a month, right? You'll notice that it's always at the very beginning of the video. And the reason why I always make sure any of that is in the beginning of the video is that if somebody does want to skip over things, they can. Ad companies, and especially advertisers, will pay, like sponsors, will pay like more money, from my understanding and my research and my experience, that if you put your ad read like 3-4 minutes into the video, so like, you know, somebody's just la-di-da-di-da watching a video, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey boys, you want to buy my product? You want to buy something? And then the whole flow of the video stops right there. You have to watch the ad because people just kind of get like assaulted by it. And then the video resumes, or people are just finagling around. It's like watching a Nostalgia Critic video, and then like minute 10 the ad starts, and Doug isn't done yapping until 15 minutes later, okay? You're kind of watching the ad all the way through. And obviously, some sponsors prefer that. We have outright told sponsors, we don't care how much you give us, or what your terms are, it's either in the beginning and that's it. And that allows you, the viewer, to effectively skip over the video and actually watch the chunk of the video right here, okay? That I think is a very fair compromise, right? And it's because of this that there are tools such as Sponsor Block that basically are community tools that, again, are downloaded by millions of users, it seems, at least 1 million off of the actual Chrome Web Store, by the way. I just want to reiterate, YouTube is against ad blocks and all of this kind of stuff. I don't know if they're so much against Sponsor Block. It's not expressly written because this has more to do with the baked-in sponsors versus YouTube's actual ad network. They're distributing it on their own fucking domains, okay? So, wild signals, too. But anyways, as this is basically sent around, how this works is there is a massive database of users who use this tool and basically tell, you know, report that, hey, we found a video with a sponsor between, you know, let's say 55 seconds into the video and 2 minutes and 20 seconds, okay? That chunk of time will then be recorded, and once it's in the database, what the actual Sponsor Block, you know, tool does is it looks in the database, compares it to the video URL, grabs the actual, you know, information, and then automatically skips the sponsors for you, okay? That's generally the layman terms on how this stuff works. Now, why this is important is that the guys behind Sponsor Block, the individual rather, because it's not really the biggest project in the world too, writes, YouTube is currently experimenting with server-side ad injections. This means the ad is being added directly into the video stream. And that breaks Sponsor Block because all timestamps are effectively offset by the ad times. Meaning that for this, at least, group right here, what'll happen is if the video is like 11 minutes long, but YouTube, you know, injects an ad that's 45 seconds, well, now you've got 45 seconds of timestamping that's, you know, basically ruining the flow. It kills the database that they are using. Now, maybe YouTube will dynamically fix up timestamps that are reported here and just adjust on the fly because they'll know exactly how much they can screw up the timestamp because every single one will be different, right? Sometimes it can be 2 minutes, sometimes it can be 30 seconds, 45, 1 minute, whatever. But that is yet to be understood, and it honestly is yet to see if this will even actually make it all the way to YouTube. A lot of these experiments are experiments, and if YouTube finds that maybe the backlash is too much, or maybe it just actually breaks a lot more things than fixes, then maybe they'll go back to the drawing board. What'll happen is, instead of sending the ad out to the client, right, which is, from my understanding, how YouTube and plenty of places do it, is you'll typically receive an ad. Your ad blocker, if you have it installed, will jump in the middle and be like, no, 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 you don't play the ad here. And then the ad gets rejected and the video actually plays as, you would want it to. So the way that server-side ad stitching works is, behind the video, before you even get the stream, YouTube or Google will modify the stream they send out to you and automatically stitch in the ad, effectively making most of the ad blockers that you and I use, all right, on the internet in general, effectively wasteful for YouTube, right? It'll make it difficult. Now, again, ad blocking is like the arms race, okay? It'll just keep going until the fucking internet dies, okay? You will constantly have this war brew out. What is a seriously more pressing concern is this right here. So if you're actually looking at the screenshot from somebody on the Android operating system, they open up a browser in incognito, it seems, and they go to this one video, and it says sign in to confirm that you're not a bot, which makes it so that, if people are using YouTube downloader tools or really anything that isn't directly a YouTube client, and the sign in part makes me a little worried here too, because if YouTube now is going to at some point require people to log in, that could severely diminish the amount of users that are on a website. For instance, I don't use YouTube logged in. Some of you may do it, but I would wager that a grand majority of the people that watch videos on YouTube just go to youtube.com, search for their favorite channel and watch. That's something that I know I do, and I've seen other people do. So this is something that I feel could absolutely cause more harm to the website than even just the ad block war. But to go into the ad block understanding, this is a post, again, by the people behind the, sponsor block, the individual behind it, Ajay. So he even mentions, right, most online video streaming is done through a playlist of video chunks. And those chunks are separately encoded video, so you can easily swap them out. Now, an ad blocker could ignore specific chunks if they know which chunks those are. And I'm sure YouTube is going to find ways to obviously obfuscate this information to make it very difficult for ad blocking tools to identify. So when it comes into the end of sponsor block, obviously that specific group will not, be done. Like, that tool will not be done in any capacity. Sponsor block could find the data that YouTube is also implementing to figure out how long a ad, even if it's baked in from the server side, is. It just might be kind of hard as they describe it. So of course, the other situation over here too is, will it be the end of general ad blocking? And again, the silver lining from this user is probably not. But it might make things harder. And that's obviously what YouTube wants to do. They want to make this as difficult and as annoying as they can. They want to make sure as many ad blockers are broken, so even individuals that download ad blockers and find out this still doesn't work 100% of the time, maybe they might just go to YouTube Premium even. That's YouTube's best, most hopeful want. But it could end up driving people away from the website if they find it too annoying for them to use. One of the things that I really have found out, really researching and basically following this thing as it goes across, is it's not just YouTube that's basically doing this, okay? If you look at most of the largest streaming services out there, Netflix has been increasing its, subscriptions, over the last several months. Slowly, it's basically doing the boiling frog technique where, you slowly increase it a little bit at a time. And Netflix, even when they were doing shit like you can't do password sharing, it seems like their subscribers just stick around. But other companies can't be as patient as Netflix, who used to bleed red on the accounting books for the longest time until they finally started reaching some sort of healthy cash flow. When you got services like Amazon Prime that actually injects advertising into lower tiers of subscriptions, yeah, I was watching The Boys yesterday, must have seen a fuck ton of ads like I was on cable television stitched right into the actual product right there on my actual television, where I couldn't have ad block at all, and services like Piehole couldn't actually do anything about it. So as these services increase, there's a lot of reasons for it. Inflation, obviously they're trying to make their money back in some capacity. They don't want to just be bleeding red from the start like Netflix. But I think the other thing is hosting and sending out 4K HDR content is very, very expensive. Now, YouTube is like the second most visited site in the world at this moment in time, from my understanding. First one is Google. Now, I imagine, just think about the scale for this, right? If you're watching this video right now, imagine if this video gets like whatever, how many views. That is one person per view that receives a file of my video. Now, sometimes that file could be small, like 360p, and it could be a 360p file if somebody's watching on like a data saver mode. It could be 720p. Somebody might jack it up to 1080p, and if I upload at a resolution that's 4K, they might jack it up to that. The higher you go, the more it costs YouTube to distribute that file to the average person. It's why they added in things like 1080p enhanced bit rates that were hidden behind a paywall, or at least locked behind it. So yes, transmitting high quality content, high quality video footage is, very expensive. And for YouTube to operate where it distributes its, ad earnings with the actual creators, this is a very, very special kind of system that exists only because YouTube is effectively backed by Google. But the thing is, YouTube costs a lot of money to operate year after year. And whatever you see on the books, ultimately that's up to Google and Alphabet to really understand the true cost of something like YouTube. So yeah, it's expensive to run. And obviously the more people that, work on this website, the more people that stream on it, the more people that upload by the hour is costing this website a metric shit ton of money to operate every single second. And I actually begin to personally suspect that the costs have become so high that, the current acting CEO, Neil, and I believe the entire YouTube team has probably deemed it very beneficial to start actually implementing and fighting ad blockers. Because I think it's gotten to a point where literally every single penny seems to count. It really feels like in the last, I want to say 2-3 years, the ad block war has kind of just went in this insane direction that I never saw before. YouTube was, I wouldn't say they were ever cool with Adblock, but they generally never really fought it to this level before. So yeah, YouTube is injecting server-side ads, it seems, allegedly, which can really cause a lot of issues for modern-day ad blockers. But do I see ad blocking, groups and web browsers stop out of nowhere? No. I'm sure they'll find some form of solution or something out there that will at least try to circumvent a lot of this bullshit for now. But the other thing that I personally feel in this situation, I'm not going to go tell you to buy YouTube Premium. If you can't afford YouTube Premium, then, it is what it is. If you can buy YouTube Premium, then that's a choice for you to make. Me personally, I don't care if you use Adblock, Sponsor Block, or any of these tools when you're watching my videos. For a lot of creators out there, they may find this to be awesome, right? A creator will look at what YouTube is doing and say, yeah, that's more money for me. I am more concerned at this point with the experience the users have. Look, I feel blessed that you guys take the time to watch the content that I produce just in general. But that's just me, okay? That's just me right here. The thing is, if you watch the ads, it might make me more money on AdSense. I'm sure, obviously, if 0% of the world used Adblock, it would make the creators a lot more money. But ultimately, I really feel like I would lose viewership. I would lose actual people watching if YouTube makes their website annoying to use. And that's where the fine balance is, right? Like if you make your website too annoying to the point where people are getting fucking barraged with double ads and just constant nuisances, then yeah, people are going to want to click off and maybe switch to something else or just not want to watch YouTube. If watching a 10-minute video means you have to suffer through fucking 2 to 4 minutes of advertisements, maybe it's not worth going through the ads. Maybe it's not worth watching something for 30 seconds and constantly having to hit skip ad, or sometimes being treated with like the triple ad whammy, depending on how the server wants to treat you. If the viewer is constantly annoyed, they might click off and never watch the video at all. And that would ultimately be a very net negative for the actual content creator out there. When it comes to things like Sponsor Block, people use this in order to make certain videos for them watchable. Now, maybe, there's a degree of entitlement to the viewer who thinks this should all be free. First off, it shouldn't, all right? This costs a lot of money to run. You can absolutely understand why YouTube is going out of their way to make sure people watch the ads, because ultimately that's what keeps the lights on for YouTube. It's not just server space they're paying for, it is an entire fucking corporation that they have to keep running and operating. But I think there needs to be a fine balance between watching the ads, fighting the ad blockers, or ultimately making an experience so shitty that people just decide to click off in droves. Let me know what that is in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.